The morning was quiet in the Nevada desert. The sky was blue and the wind was still. Far from the cities, in a secret base, large satellite dishes turned toward the sky. Inside the base, people watched computer screens. Then, something strange happened. One of the screens showed a signal. It was not from Earth. It was coming from deep space. The signal was strong and fast. It was not like anything they had seen before. A man in uniform, Major Lucas Grant, stood up from his chair. He looked at the screen and picked up the phone. "Get me command," he said. Far above Earth, space opened like a cut in the sky. A huge hole appeared, black and full of stars. From this hole, 20 giant ships came through. They were bigger than mountains. They moved slowly but with power. The ships were not human. They were alien. In cities across the world, people stopped what they were doing. In New York, cars stopped in the streets. In Tokyo, workers left their offices. In Rio, people looked up and pointed at the sky. Fear filled the hearts of many. No one had seen anything like this before. In Chicago, Mia Brooks was getting ready for work. She worked with computers and loved solving problems. She heard people shouting outside. When she went to her window, she saw the sky covered by a giant ship. Her phone buzzed with alerts. The news said aliens had arrived. The alien sent a message. All over the world, people heard the same voice. It spoke perfect English. The voice said, Earth was now part of the Tyrak Dominion. It said humans would serve the Tyrak as workers and soldiers. It told Earth to surrender, but Earth did not surrender. Major Grant called the president. He gave a full report. Around the world, leaders spoke quickly. They did not panic. They had been warned. A few months before, strange signals were found in space. Some scientists thought it could be aliens. Some leaders believed them. Secret meetings were held. Plans were made. In a secret lab near Houston, Eric Long stood in front of a glowing screen. He had worked for 10 years on something called a defense grid. It could stop anything that came from the sky. He turned to his team. "It's time," he said. In Los Angeles, Sergeant Carla White ran to the command room. She worked with drones. Her team had trained for this day. She gave quick orders. "Send the swarm," she said. The first alien pods came down like fireballs. They hit the ground and opened. Strange creatures came out. They had metal suits and long weapons, but the streets were empty. The people were safe underground. Then the sky came alive. Drones flew fast and attacked the alien pods. The aliens tried to fight back, but they were too slow. The drones moved like insects, fast and sharp. In minutes, many alien soldiers were gone. In other parts of the world, the same thing happened. In Russia, in China, in India, and in Europe, Earth fought back. The Tyrak were strong, but Earth was ready. In less than 15 minutes, half of the invasion was stopped. The Tyrak ships in the sky looked down and saw their soldiers losing. They tried to change plans, but Earth had control of the ground. The world did not fall. It rose. The invasion was not the end. It was the beginning of something much bigger. The alien ships stayed in the sky, but something was wrong. Their plan was not working. They had come to win fast, but Earth was fighting back. The Tyrak did not expect this. They thought humans were weak. They thought Earth was not ready. But Earth had been watching. For many months, scientists had seen small signs in space, strange movements, odd lights, and silent signals. They told leaders something big was coming. The world began to prepare. They did not tell everyone, but they built secret weapons. They trained special teams. They worked together. In Washington, leaders shared information with other countries. It was not easy, but they knew they had to act as one. A secret team was formed. They were called Earth Guard. These people were from many countries, and they worked in hidden places around the world. They made a plan for invasion. Eric Long was one of them. He worked in a base deep under Texas. His job was to protect the skies. He had built a defense system with smart weapons. These weapons could see, think, and act on their own. When the alien ships came, he turned the system on. Lights flashed. Missiles launched. The sky turned into fire. Sergeant Carla White was busy in Los Angeles. Her drones were fast and smart. They could fly alone and find targets. She watched the screens and gave orders. Her voice was calm. Her heart was strong. The drones flew high and attacked the alien pods. Alien machines broke apart in the air. In Chicago, Mia Brooks joined a group of engineers. They went to an old subway tunnel. There, they set up power lines and helped connect machines. She worked fast with others, building shields and small turrets. She had never been in a fight before, but now she felt brave. In Africa, people used solar towers to fire energy beams. In Europe, robot tanks rolled through the streets. In Asia, satellites sent heat waves toward alien drop points. Everywhere, humans used their minds to fight back. The Tyrak had weapons, but humans had ideas. One by one, the alien forces on the EU ground failed. Their weapons were strong, but they were not made for this kind of war. They were slow. They could not change fast. The humans were fast, smart, and angry. The aliens did not know how to fight them. The battle moved into the sky. Alien ships tried to send more pods, but Earth's systems blocked them. Space around Earth turned into a trap. New fighter jets from secret bases flew into orbit. They carried special weapons that could pierce alien armor. A young pilot named Jake flew one of the jets. He had trained for years in secret. Now he flew through fire and metal. He fired missiles at a Tyrak ship. The ship broke apart and fell into the ocean. Jake smiled. Earth was not going to lose. The Tyrak leader watched from a large ship above, the Pacific Ocean. He saw the fight turning bad. He called his officers. They spoke in their strange language. One said, "This planet is not what we thought." The leader said, "Send more troops, we will crush them." But the truth was clear. Every minute, the Tyrak lost more soldiers, more ships, and more control. In the mountains of Canada, a group of students used homemade machines to block alien signals. In the deserts of Australia, farmers used old radios to guide rescue teams. Even children helped by carrying water and giving food to fighters. The whole world was fighting. Not just armies, but people. Everyone was doing something. And the Tyrak did not understand this. They thought humans would run. But humans stood together. In just 15 minutes, half the invasion was gone. Earth had used its mind, heart, and hands. The Tyrak ships began to rise higher into the sky. They wanted to escape the weapons on the ground, but Earth was ready for that too. Satellites in space turned toward the ships. They sent waves of energy. The ships shook and lost power. Some fell back to Earth. Others floated without control. The Tyrak commanders could not believe what was happening. They had traveled across stars. They had taken many worlds. But Earth was different. Earth fought like no other planet. The Tyrak tried to make a new plan. They called more ships from the other side of space. But the call was blocked. Earth had taken control of their signals. The leader of Earthguard said, "They will not take our planet. Not today. Not ever." The people of Earth had spoken, with fire and steel, with code and courage. The invasion was breaking apart. The Tyrak had come to win. But they were losing. They were losing fast, and Earth was just getting started. The sky above Earth was full of smoke and broken metal. Some Tyrak ships were falling. Others were trying to escape, but Earth was not done. A new plan was starting. It was time to fight back in space. High above the planet, in a secret base on the edge of the atmosphere, the Liberty Lance was ready. It was a large spaceship built in secret. It had strong armor and fast engines. It was made for this moment. Commander Natalie Burns stood on the bridge. She looked at the stars and the enemy ships. Her team waited for her command. She raised her hand and said, "Launch." The Liberty Lance flew out like a bullet. Behind it, other ships followed. Some were from the military. Some were made by private groups. One was the Helios Ark, built by a team of young scientists. All of them had one goal: to push the aliens out. The Tyrak ships saw the human ships coming. They turned and fired. Red beams of energy shot through space. But the human ships were fast. They moved in patterns the Tyrak did not understand. Earth had trained its pilots with simulations. They were ready for this kind of battle. Natalie gave quick orders. Her team fired missiles at weak points in the alien ships. One by one, the enemy ships began to break. The human ships worked together like a family. Each ship helped the others. Each pilot trusted the others. Below, on Earth, people watched the battle in the sky. Large screens in cities showed the fight. People cheered when they saw the enemy ships fall. It gave them hope. In New Delhi, a boy named Samir waved a flag. In Mexico City, a girl named Rosa shouted with joy. In a small town in Canada, an old man cried as he watched. He had fought in wars before. He had never seen anything like this. Back in space, the battle was hard. The Tyrak had bigger ships, but they did not work well together. They did not trust each other. They made mistakes. Human computers saw those mistakes and used them. Earth's targeting systems were smart and fast. They hit the right spots again and again. In one moment, 5 Tyrak ships tried to trap the Liberty Lance, but Natalie saw it coming. She ordered a sharp turn and fired special mines. The mines exploded and made a bright flash. The enemy ships crashed into each other. Far from the battle in the forests of Oregon, a small group of people were helping in another way. Owen Reed and Nora Patel had built radio towers. They used them to guide lost pilots back to safety. They also sent signals to jam the enemy's messages. They worked all day and night. They ate simple food and slept in tents, but they were proud. They were helping their planet. The Tyrak ships began to fall back. They had lost too many fighters. Their leader shouted at his officers. He did not understand how Earth had done this. How could a small world fight so hard? He sent a new command. All ships must pull back and form a line. They would try one last attack. Commander Natalie saw them moving. She knew this was the final wave. She spoke to all ships. "This is our moment. Do not stop. Do not fear. We fight together." The last part of the battle began. It was loud and fast. Lights flashed in every direction. The sky looked like it was full of stars and fire. Then, it started to end. More Tyrak ships exploded. Others stopped moving. One ship turned and ran. Then another, and another. After 23 minutes, 80% of the Tyrak fleet was gone. The rest were damaged or running away. On the Liberty Lance, people clapped and hugged each other. Natalie smiled, but she did not relax. "Stay alert," she said. "It is not over until we are safe." On Earth, people danced in the streets. They sang songs and waved flags. They had been afraid, but now they were proud. They had done something no other world had done. They had pushed back the Tyrak. In a hospital in Berlin, a nurse held the hand of a hurt soldier. "We are winning," she said softly. The soldier smiled and closed his eyes. In a farm in Brazil, a family turned on the radio. They heard the news. The invasion was breaking. They sat together and gave thanks. In space, the last human ships moved carefully. They helped each other and collected the broken pieces of alien ships. Scientists would study them later. The battle was won, but the war was not yet finished. Earth had survived the attack, but now it had to prepare for what might come next. They had shown the galaxy something new. They had shown that humans were not weak. They were smart, brave, and strong when they stood together. And this was only the beginning of Earth's story in the stars. After the battle in space, Earth was quiet again. People began to clean the streets, fix buildings, and help the injured. Smoke still rose in some places, but the fear was gone. The world had faced the Tyrak and pushed them back. In Washington, leaders from many countries came together. They sat in a large room and talked. They did not fight or blame each other, they made plans. Earth needed to be stronger. They wanted to be ready if the Tyrak came again. In the same room, a woman named Lina Torres spoke. She was an engineer from Argentina. She said, "We must build new shields in space. We cannot wait for help. We must protect ourselves." Others agreed. A new project began. It was called Skywall. Many countries gave money and tools. Scientists and workers from around the world came to help. Together, they started to build a wall of satellites, lasers, and shields around Earth. Meanwhile, the Liberty Lance returned to Earth. It landed in a desert base. Commander Natalie Burns stepped out and looked around. People clapped and cheered. She walked to her team and said, "We did our job. Now we prepare for what comes next." In Chicago, Mia Brooks was back at her old job, but her life had changed. She now helped design better drones and defense systems. She worked long hours but never complained. She wanted to make sure the next time Earth was even more ready. In Texas, Eric Long tested a new kind of energy weapon. He worked with a small team in a lab underground. The weapon was small but powerful. It could stop a ship with one shot. Eric said this will make them think twice before coming back. Far away in space, the few surviving Tyrak ships floated in silence. Inside the largest ship, the Tyrak leader was angry. His plans had failed. He had lost many ships and soldiers. He looked at a screen and said, "Send a message. We will not forget this." The message went into deep space. It was short but clear. It said that Earth was dangerous. It warned others not to take humans lightly. The Tyrak needed time to heal and rebuild. But they also began to plan revenge. Back on Earth, life started to feel normal again. Children went back to school. Shops reopened. Farmers worked in their fields, but people were different now. They were stronger. They knew they had power. And they were not afraid. In Japan, a young girl named Yuki joined a science club. She wanted to build a robot to help in space. In Egypt, a boy named Omar wrote a story about brave pilots. In Canada, a woman named Eva trained to become a space soldier. Everywhere, people dreamed big. They believed Earth could do more. They wanted to explore, to learn, and to protect their world. One day, a new signal came. It was not from the Tyrak. It was from a different part of space. The signal was soft and peaceful. It spoke in many languages. It said, "We saw your courage. We want to talk." The leaders of Earth met again. Some were afraid. Some were hopeful. After many talks, they decided to answer. A message was sent back. It said, "We are ready to listen." A few weeks later, a small ship appeared in orbit. It was not like the Tyrak ships. It was smooth and bright. It looked like it was made of light. The ship sent a message. It said, "We are friends. May we come down?" The Liberty Lance rose once more and met the new ship in space. Commander Natalie Burns and two scientists went inside. They met beings who looked like light and wind. The beings had no weapons. They said, "We came to help." They told the humans about other worlds. They said Earth was special. Most planets lost when the Tyrak came. But Earth did not. Earth was strong. Earth had something others did not have. Unity. Natalie listened and said, "We are not perfect, but we fight for each other." The beings smiled and said, "That is why you are ready." They shared maps of stars and names of other friendly races. They offered help and knowledge. They said Earth was now part of a bigger family. The galaxy was wide, and there was much to learn. Back on Earth, people watched the news with wide eyes. Children asked questions. Teachers gave new lessons. Artists painted what the new friends looked like. Hope spread across the world. Mia Brooks looked at the stars one night and smiled. Eric Long stood on a hill and thought about the future. Carla White, the drone commander, wrote in her journal, "We fought hard. Now we grow stronger." Earth had changed. It was no longer just a blue planet alone in space. It was now a light in the dark. It had fought and survived, and now it would rise. But somewhere, in the cold part of the galaxy, the Tyrak leader watched. He still had fire in his eyes. He would not forget. The story of Earth was not over. It was just beginning. Months passed after Earth defeated the Tyrak invasion. People were still working together. Cities were being rebuilt. New space stations were rising above the planet. Earth had become stronger. It was not just healing. It was growing. Natalie Burns sat in a new space base called Horizon 1. She looked out at the stars. There were more human ships now. They carried supplies, scientists, and explorers. Earth was no longer hiding. It was reaching out. In the large control room, people spoke many languages. Everyone shared ideas. There was no room for fighting among nations now. The world had learned something powerful. When humans work as one, they can do anything. Eric Long walked through a research lab under the sea. It was a new place built to study alien technology. He touched a strange piece of metal from a Tyrak ship. It hummed with quiet energy. He smiled and said, "Let's learn from it." Mia Brooks traveled with a group of students. They were going to a training center on the moon. They were the first class of Earth space cadets. Mia helped teach them. She showed them how to build, how to defend, and how to stay calm. One day, a new message came from deep space. It was from the same peaceful race that had visited before. They invited Earth to a meeting of many planets. It was called the Star Union. Earth was asked to send someone to speak. The world chose Natalie. She had led the fight. She had stayed strong. Now, she would speak for Earth. Natalie flew in a long-range ship with a small crew. They passed many stars and strange planets. After days of travel, they reached the meeting place. It was a large station in space with lights that danced like water. Inside, beings of many shapes and colors sat in a great hall. Some floated, some had wings, some looked like light. But all of them listened. Natalie stood and said, "We are from Earth. We once fought alone. But now we come in peace. We want to learn. We want to help. And if danger comes again, we will not run. We will stand, together." The hall was quiet. Then one by one, the other races clapped or flashed lights. A leader from a water world said, "Earth has earned its place. Welcome." Natalie felt proud. She knew she was not alone. Earth was now part of something greater. Back on Earth, the news spread fast. People cheered. They made songs and flags. Children played with toy spaceships. Artists painted the future. But far away in a dark part of space, the Tyrak were not finished. The leader of the Tyrak sat on a broken throne. His face was cold. He looked at a map. "We will return," he said. "Next time, we will not fail." He called a meeting of other warlords. He spoke of revenge. He showed them pictures of Earth. "This planet must be crushed. They made us weak. They made others laugh at us." One warlord said, "They are not weak." The leader replied, "Then we will become stronger." They began to build new weapons, bigger, faster, and smarter. But even as they worked, they feared. Earth had changed the game. Earth had shown that even a small planet could fight back. Meanwhile, Earth prepared too. The skywall was now finished. It circled the planet like a ring of light. Space fighters flew through it every hour. Drones scanned the skies. Satellites watched far into space. Carla White returned to duty. She now led a group called the Earth Defense Fleet. She trained pilots from many countries. She told them, "We do not want war, but if war comes, we will be ready." In a small town in Italy, a girl named Sophia built her first robot. It could walk and talk. She named it Hope. Her father smiled and said, "You are part of the future now." Hope was the feeling spreading across Earth. Not just safety, but hope. Hope to explore. Hope to learn. Hope to build a better galaxy. Natalie returned from the Star Union meeting. She was tired but happy. She stood before the United Earth Council and said, "We are not just survivors. We are builders. We are protectors. And now, we are explorers." A new program began. It was called The Path. Ships would go to nearby stars. They would meet new friends. They would share knowledge and peace. The people of Earth were ready. At night, people looked at the stars with new eyes, not with fear, but with wonder. The sky no longer felt far away. It was now a road. The story of Earth had started with fire and fear, but it had changed. It had become a story of courage, unity, and hope. And somewhere in the stars, others were watching. They came to conquer. But Earth crushed the invasion in minutes, and now Earth was rising. Deep in the outer part of the galaxy, the Tyrak warlords were still building. They had made a new command ship, larger than anything before. It could hide from scanners. It had dark armor that could bend light. Inside, the Tyrak leader stood, in silence. He stared at the stars. "They think they have won," he said. "But we have just begun." One of his officers walked forward. "Our scouts report Earth is sending ships to explore other systems. They are building strong bonds with other worlds. Then we must break those bonds," the leader said. "Not with war, not yet, but with lies, with fear." They started a secret plan. They sent small drones to planets near Earth ships. The drones spread fake messages. They said Earth could not be trusted. They showed edited images that made Earth look like the attacker. Back on Earth, the new space team called the Path was growing. Young pilots, builders, and thinkers from all countries joined. They trained hard. They were kind and curious. They carried gifts of peace to other planets. Mia Brooks was now a top guide for the team. She showed the new members how to act when meeting alien life. "Always show respect," she said. "Speak little, listen more." Carla White watched the sky from a large control tower. She noticed something strange. Some friendly ships had stopped talking. Some planets had stopped answering Earth's messages. She called Natalie Burns, who was leading a team near the star Epsilon. "Something is wrong," Carla said. "We may not be alone out there." Natalie had learned to trust her gut. She changed her ship's course and flew to a nearby planet that had stopped talking. It was a peaceful water world called Leora. When they arrived, they saw smoke in the sky. They landed. The city was quiet. Natalie and her team walked through empty streets. They found signs of a fight. But it was not Earth that had done this. A Leoran leader was hiding in a temple. She came out slowly. She looked afraid. "We were told Earth had betrayed us. Ships with your symbol came and attacked us." Natalie shook her head. "That was not us. Someone wants to divide us." Natalie shared proof from the Liberty Lance's records. Her ship had been far away when the attack happened. The Leorans believed her. "We must tell others," the Leoran leader said. "The Tyrak are playing tricks." Back on Earth, the United Council saw the new threat. Lies were spreading. Fear was growing. Natalie returned and spoke to them. "This is not a war of weapons," she said. "This is a war of truth. We must be clear. We must be open." The Council agreed. They sent clear messages to every known planet. They shared proof of Earth's real actions. They asked other races to visit Earth and see the truth with their own eyes. Some came. Some still doubted. But many listened, and they remembered the day Earth had pushed back the Tyrak. Eric Long helped build new tools to stop false messages. He used smart code that could check if a message had been changed. "We must protect the truth," he said. In schools, teachers taught kids about honesty and critical thinking. In space, humans sent teams of peacekeepers, not fighters. One day, a Tyrak drone was caught near Mars. It carried a message meant to start a fight between two peaceful planets. The drone was shown on every screen on Earth. People saw the truth with their own eyes. After that, many planets who had turned away came back. The circle of friends around Earth grew stronger, and the Tyrak plan began to fail. The Tyrak leader was furious. "We used to win with fear. Now they are not afraid." A young Tyrak soldier hearing this spoke quietly. "Maybe we are the ones who should change." But the leader would not listen. He started to build a new weapon, one that could destroy a planet without touching it. It used sound, light, and fear. It was called the Void Song. Carla White got word of it through a spy network. She told Natalie, "If this weapon is real, we must stop it before it is used." Natalie formed a small team. They flew in secret to where the weapon was being built. It was hidden in a hollow moon. The team moved fast and quiet. They found the Void Song. It was almost finished. A strange energy pulsed from it. One wrong move, and it could start. Natalie gave the order. Cut the power, then destroy the core. Eric had joined her for this mission. He worked fast. Sweat ran down his face. One more wire. Done. The power dropped. The team placed charges and ran. The moon shook as the weapon exploded. A bright light filled the sky. Then it was gone. The team flew back. The Tyrak would know someone had stopped them, but they would not know who. Earth was safe again. But Natalie knew this would not be the end. We cannot stop moving, she told the council. We must keep growing, keep helping, and never forget who we are. On a quiet beach in Australia, a boy drew pictures of rockets in the sand. His mother smiled. She said, "Maybe one day you will fly one of those." The boy nodded. He looked up at the sky. "I want to help keep us safe." The future was still full of danger, but it was also full of light. Earth had been attacked. It had been tricked, but it had not fallen. And now, Earth would not just survive. It would lead. Months passed after the destruction of the Void Song. Earth remained peaceful, but the people did not forget. They continued to build, to learn, and to prepare. Natalie Burns stood on a high platform at the United Earth Space Academy. A new group of cadets was about to graduate. She looked at their young faces. Some were nervous, some proud, but all were ready. "You are the next line of peacekeepers," she said. "You will protect, explore, and connect us with the stars. Never forget that your heart is your strongest tool." The cadets cheered. They saluted her before marching off to their new roles. Among them was Sophia, the girl who once built a robot named Hope. She now wore a silver badge and was ready to fly her first mission. In space, the PATH program expanded. Ships visited new planets. Some were quiet and cold. Some were bright and full of life. Every visit brought new knowledge. Mia Brooks led a mission to a desert planet with strong winds and tall crystal towers. The people there, called the Zerial, spoke through sound vibrations. Mia listened carefully, learning how they shared thoughts, without words. The Zerial shared their knowledge of energy. Their towers turned wind into clean power. Mia promised to share that knowledge with Earth. The Zerial smiled and welcomed Earth as a friend. Back on Earth, Eric Long worked in a lab with other scientists. They were trying to use Tyrak tech for good. One device helped farmers grow food faster using light patterns. Another cleaned polluted air with smart filters. Eric said, "Even from war, we can grow something good." But not all things were easy. Some planets still feared Earth. They had been hurt by Tyrak lies. Natalie and Carla White began sending open messages inviting anyone to visit Earth and see the truth. One day a ship arrived. It was from a planet called Varnak. Their leader, Doma, was tall and quiet. He said, "We come with questions, not trust." Natalie welcomed him. She showed him schools, farms, and research centers. She let him speak to children and old people. Doma watched and listened. After 3 days, he said, "You are not what I was told. Earth has heart." He returned home with stories. Soon, other planets followed. Earth's circle of trust grew wider again. Meanwhile, trouble was still growing. Far away, the Tyrak warlords were fighting among themselves. Some wanted to attack again. Others wanted to hide. A few had begun to question the old ways. One of them, named Rylox, had once led an attack on a small moon. He had seen children there. He had walked away without harming them. Now he spoke to his people. "We have lost because we try to rule with fear. Earth won with unity. If we do not change, we will fall." His words caused a stir. Some Tyrak listened, others called him weak. But Rylox did not stop. He sent a message to Earth. Carla received it. "He wants peace," she said. "He is offering to share knowledge in exchange for safety." The council debated. Could the Tyrak be trusted? Would it be a trap? But Natalie said, "If one enemy is willing to change, we must give them a chance. That is how peace begins." A meeting was arranged. It took place on a neutral moon. Rylox came. Alone with no weapons, Natalie came with a small team. They met inside a simple dome. "Why now?" Natalie asked. Rylock said, "Because I have seen the truth. Earth fights to protect, not to conquer. I want that strength for my people, not to make war, but to survive." They talked for hours. In the end, Natalie gave him a book written by Earth children about peace. Rylox took it and bowed. When he returned, some Tyrak leaders were angry, but many young ones came to hear his story. Change had begun. On Earth, a new plan was made. It was called Starbridge. It would link many planets with shared learning centers. Students from different worlds would study together. Teachers would come from Earth, Zyreel, Varnak, and more. Sophia was chosen to be part of the first group. She flew to a space station above a gas giant. Her roommate was a boy from Varnak. They learned how to build solar wings together. One day, during a walk on the station, she said, "Do you think we will ever stop being afraid of each other?" Her friend said, "We already are, little by little." Far away, a new threat was watching. Not Tyrak, not any known race. Something older, something silent. They had seen the battles. They had watched the peace. And they were curious. Their machines moved slowly, hidden in deep clouds. They sent a signal, not of war, but of study. They wanted to understand the humans. Earth heard a strange sound from the far side of the galaxy. It was not a message, but a puzzle. Scientists and linguists worked day and night to find meaning. Natalie said, "The universe is still full of mystery. We must face it with open minds." And so the people of Earth continued forward. The path was not easy, but they walked it together. From a planet once nearly crushed, Earth had risen. From fire and fear came hope and peace. And the story was far from over.